I want to welcome Crystal Catalina to the show. She is an LMSW working at the VA hospital and the Substance Use Disorders Treatment Program in Houston, Texas. Prior to this position, she has worked as a critical crisis phone counselor at the Harris Center for Mental Health. She's worked for a suicide hotline. She's also held positions as a program coordinator and recovery group facilitator at Mental Health America and volunteer supervisor at Montrose Grace Place, a homeless drop-in center for teens who identify on the LGBTQIA spectrum. Most recently, and what we're talking about today, is that Crystal has found a love for fitness, nutrition, and the mind-body connection. Since April 2020, in the pandemic, y'all, she has successfully released over 45 pounds from her physical frame, and she's just getting warmed up. And she's here to talk to me today. Welcome to the show, Crystal Catalina. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
We were just catching up. It has been years since we've seen each other. I was saying that I have double the hair. I used to have my little short pixie, and you have about half the body going on. So we are going to talk about mental health, bodies, transformations.
All the things.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how you got to transform your body. Like, what has your journey been from not doing this work to doing this work, and how does you being a mental health counselor play into this?
Yes. Oh, such good questions. So my journey to total wellness began in April of this year. COVID had already the beginnings of COVID had begun.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already kind of started a more mental and spiritual transformation beginning in January. And so I had started a daily morning ritual of meditation and journaling that I had started in the beginning of January. And I was already seeing some really positive results in my life from that.
Okay.
But then when COVID hit, I started kind of slumping back into kind of fear and anxiety. And that's when I came across my wellness coaches. I found them scrolling on social media. And something just clicked and really felt in alignment with me. As far as they were concerned, I could tell that they were different. And so I reached out to them and started in their private coaching program that really was all about aligning the mind with the body, that the body is just a byproduct of the mind, which really made perfect sense to me. And so, being a mental health professional, it already kind of gave me that leg up as to I had a solid foundation. I just needed to put the things that I already knew into practice in regard to my total body wellness, and not just focusing on spirituality and mind-based principles, but shifting the focus into the physical as well. I think often as highly sensitive individuals, we put more focus. It's easy to put more focus on spirituality and emotions and mind-based things, and kind of leave the body as just like, it's just the physical body. I don't need to deal with that here.
Absolutely. Well, and I think for me, because I've been 50 pounds overweight in my life and had to make a transformation. And I know that my mental health training, I feel like it really supported me in being able to ignore my body for a long time, because we don't bring that into mental health. So I love this phrase that you're using, this whole body wellness, because we're not a separate mind and body. But when you're reading and devouring self-help things and psychology things and spiritual things, it certainly gives the impression as if they're totally separate things, like you can ignore one or the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So how did you start? Because I'm also aware that there's so much out there right now with body positivity. And I think that message of love your body right where you are is so healthy and so important. But because I work with coaching so many therapists, I keep hearing from therapists that they really are scared to talk about bodies. They're scared of being told that they're shaming someone if they're asking those questions. And so I'm seeing that in our therapy world, people are kind of shutting down in the face of, I feel like, body positivity movement getting twisted into, you don't have to really attend to this body. You just love it exactly as it is. Where are your thoughts on that? Because I've been really mulling that over for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. That resonates for me as well. And I do feel that it's wonderful to be comfortable in your body where it is in the current
Hmm.
state. And I believe that it's necessary to do so in order to transform. Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
if you're not
Can't fight
happy,
yourself. Like, you can't
yeah,
fight where you are right now. So I think that's the healthiness of body positivity, is wherever you are right now, love is the answer to help you transform and get to that healthier state.
yes. And it's kind of like this dialectic of it's okay to love yourself now and want more for yourself too.
Yes, holding those multiple truths and like working within the duality of both of those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Good. So you started this work really in this, all right, I love myself where I am. How did you start with your coaches? Because you're making another great point. I think a lot of people who aren't in mental health go, well, you're a counselor, you should have it all figured out. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're working with a coach to work on these things? But I think that's like maybe a dirty little secret that hopefully is getting more light shine, so it doesn't seem like a little dark secret. That no, the more help we get, the more we figure out, I think the easier it is for us to seek more help. We know that it helps us get there
absolutely.
faster.
Yeah, we're all human. We're all human and we all need support. We're hardwired for connection.
Yes.
And so, if you're the biggest fish in the pond, then you need to find another pond. It's
Mhm.
great that you're in this pond and you're able to help everyone else, while at the same time you need someone pulling you up as well too.
Oh, I love the pond. Yes, yes,
So,
we need to keep searching for bigger ponds. That's how
yeah.
we expand.
Absolutely. So I'm all about finding mentors, coaches, in all realms of life, whether it's in, business and, body wellness and, you know, basically immersing yourself in, um, environments that support your growth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I've known you to be physical for a long time. You've kind of always been physical. I've seen you kayak, I've seen you rollerblade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
you've always been like moving. Like you were a creature that if I picture you in my mind, like you're moving.
Yes.
So you found your coaches. Say their names again, Sarit
Aaron.
and Aaron. Okay, and what happened when you found them?
Basically I was brought into an onboarding coaching call where it's an hour long and I discuss with Coach Sharit, the good, the bad, and the ugly of my current life, and I say that with ease, but just what my life currently look like. And it's funny that you say that because I told Sarit, I was like, I'm an active person. Like, I don't understand. Like, and I think I speak for a lot of women when I say like, or men as well, possibly, but I just felt like maybe I'm just supposed to be like this forever. Like maybe this is just what the cards I was dealt in this life.
Like,
Maybe
am I supposed to just accept this?
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Sarit just explained to me, like, you don't know what you don't know. And the nutrition fitness industry really is so jaded.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving us all kinds of misinformation.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, we just talked about what my life currently looked like. Um, and I shared with her, my morning rituals, and all these things. And she was like, girl, like, you're doing great. We just got to get you to focus on the physical body a little bit more,
Okay.
So there was some education in regard to nutrition. Um, because with the jaded food industry, you think you're eating healthfully and you're really not. You don't know
What
what you're putting in your body.
Would you share more about that? Like, what kind of stuff were you eating? Because I think this is like the unspoken real tragedy of our time is
Yeah.
that Americans, I mean, you're in Houston, my goodness, like I'm pretty sure Houston is it still number one, like most unhealthy?
I think we are the most obese city. We are
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're the South, so we have all
Yep.
the fried foods, and then we're kind of like a melding pot of cultures. So we've got all the different cultures, like you can basically, taste around the world in Houston. So
It was astounding to me to get to Colorado and just have my eyes see that, oh my gosh, people are healthier. It's just, it's smaller people and really having to look at that and go, what is going on? Because so many people like you're naming just think, well, this is who I am. Everybody in my family is shaped this way and carries this much extra. So this must just be how I am. And like really like just kind of accept it like over the course of a life.
absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people are not very like movement isn't really there's not a lot of people moving in Houston. Like there's a lot of people working and eating, but there's not
Yep.
a lot of like physical activity type things like there is in
Nature.
Colorado, lots
Yep.
of hiking and kayaking and all the
Yep.
things that just doesn't exist in Houston.
Well, and the weather's oppressive. So it really like I moved less in Houston just naturally because you're inside, you're escaping the oppressive heat. It's not really very encouraging. Like go outside and get sweaty. You're like, I'm not moving and I'm sweaty. What do you mean I need to sweat more? No, no, thank you.
I love that word oppressive. Yes. It's- the foods that I was eating, honestly, like it was like quote unquote health conscious food, right? Like the labeling that was like fat free, sugar free,
Diet,
this
diet, diet.
this like keto granola bar, like
Huh?
all the things that are advertised as healthy, that are just processed, full of chemicals, full of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will never forget. Like so, Coach Sarit had me go watch a documentary that's on YouTube. It's free. It's called That Sugar Film.
Okay.
And ever since I watched that, I was like really vigilant about reading labels about like, hidden sugars because sugar is hidden in everything.
Mhm.
And so I discovered, like, I read the back of the packet of taco
Oh.
seasoning, and it had like 32 grams of sugar. I was like, what? Like, it's not even a sweet tasting thing. Like,
Huh?
it's just mind blowing. All the hidden sugar. And it's just, it's really sabotaging.
Well, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, that's hard for our minds to wrap around that a taco seasoning would be like a donut. Like that does not make sense. So
Right.
when people go science, 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 like science has done that to food and to us.
Yeah. And you think you're
Yikes.
eating healthy, you're going to buy lean ground turkey
Mhm.
or even, and then you're ladling it with a sugar packet. Like, and
Yes.
you really think you're eating healthy and you don't understand, why am I not able to release this weight?
And that
Because
is so depressing. That is so depressing to be putting mindful effort in, working your ass off to figure these things out, to have that self sabotage by our American food industry.
yes, 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 yes. It's so unfortunate. They're literally setting us up for failure. And I
Uh-huh.
believe they know what they're doing.
I do
Um,
too. These are not accidents.
no. So it's super unfortunate, but being able to get a hold of the correct information, immerse myself in an environment of complete support and alignment of my goals and values has been invaluable to me and really, really propelled me into success.
All right. So what was it like to let go of eating those processed foods? Like, did you go through withdrawal?
I don't know that I went through withdrawal. I went through nicotine withdrawal. I've
Ah, you quit
quit
smoking
smoking.
too. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I never considered myself to have an alcohol disorder. But I was using alcohol in a mindless way without intention
Mhm.
before. And it was just kind of like my habit, like after work, and like providing therapy all day. It was my way to unwind. And I would have, one or two drinks every day after work. Um, and so releasing that,
Like
I
attachment.
yeah, releasing
Mhm.
the attachment and it was just kind of like a compulsive, like, this is what I do. So that
Well, and it's normalized in Houston. Like I drank more in Houston too, and I was really shocked coming from New Orleans. I'm a New Orleans native, that
mm,
Houston felt like more of a drinking town to me than even New Orleans.
fascinating.
I think because of like lack of like nature and outside, and you work, it's a very like workaholic kind of culture. And so you work and then you drink and then you work and then you drink. And so when you drink one or two drinks a night within that culture, you feel like you're doing less than everybody else. Like it seems really healthy. Was that true for you?
Totally. So I was like, I don't have an issue, but it was like, it's about like the
Uh-huh.
intention behind it.
Mhm.
I had like a little mini house fire within the time period of this. And um my immediate reaction or compulsion or urge was to reach for alcohol. And I reached out to Coach Sharita at the time, and I was like, the intention, I realize now, I'm more aware, I'm self-aware
Mhm.
that this is not the time to reach for a beer. This is not it. And so I'm not drinking ever, but I'm drinking with intention. If I go to
Mhm.
a wedding, I can have a glass of champagne.
Yes.
But the intention behind the action, that's what it's all about.
Yes. And
100%.
I don't think the general public understands that. Like you've been working in addiction. I've worked in addiction.
Yeah.
If we knew more of this information, I think it would head so much addictive drinking off at the pass because we just don't know. We just don't know. And when we come from these cultures where you pick up a drink when you're stressed, when you're sad, when you're happy, when every feeling you have, cheers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers, or here's a piece of cake.
Yep. Yes. Yes. Anyone
It's
who's
the
worked in an
same
office. Yes.
thing.
Like we have like what the freshman 15, there should be like an office 25.
Absolutely.
Yes, I felt attacked when I worked in an office by women that would be like, "Here, I brought cakes and I brought donuts." I'm like, "Y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Please stop."
Absolutely.
That's how we share love too, like through
Yes.
those things. So it really is like psychological as well as our patterns and our stressors. Oh, so cool. Such good work.
Yes. Yeah. We are, and this is ingrained in us from babies,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
birthdays, softball game. Oh, you won. Let's go get ice cream. I mean, it's
Yep. Mhm. You deserve it. That's what we say. Like, you deserve this. So
yeah.
if we deserve the things that are sabotaging us, oh, it's so twisted up.
No.
So
And
what did
you can earn and deserve something. You absolutely
yes.
can, with once you've had like a long-standing pattern of consistency and action that does align with your goals, then
Mhm.
it does align to allow yourself a treat every now and then. It does,
Yes.
with intention.
And it doesn't sabotage. I think that's the trick when you're there and you've changed this pattern within self. there's nothing that I don't eat. There's nothing that I will never ever I won't have veal. Well, that's a different reason. But it's really like integrating that information and knowing like deprivation is not part of this.
It is not part of this at all. So there's no calorie counting with this. There is no, keto, no, I eat carbs.
Mm.
I love my carbs. I respect my carbs.
Uh-huh.
So I don't go overboard on my carbs. And
Yep.
I pay attention to the quality of what carbs I'm choosing,
Yes.
you know.
So
But
when you didn't go for that beer, when you had a house fire, what did you go for?
I reached out for support. I reached out for support. Somebody was on the phone with me on video phone as I cleaned up, so that I cleaned up the soot. And then I just allowed myself to drop all other responsibilities that I had lined up, because I'm very like type A. I've got my schedule for the day, like everything, like in 30
Yeah, you
minutes block
stayed
what I need
packed.
to be
You have
doing.
always stayed busy and packed. Yes.
Yes.
So that's big for you to like just allow for, I'm not going to do anything else today and I will clear my schedule.
That's huge. That's been a whole nother mindset like shift. Like that's been a big piece of unlocking is rigidity is good sometimes
Hmm.
with flexibility. As things come up, you have to allow without getting all like girded up and but and that's been an ongoing lesson for me that I feel like I'm finally starting to unlock.
Oh, that's beautiful. That makes me happy for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay. All right. So you had the house fire. And then, like, what has your emotional transformation been as this has been going on?
Wow, the emotional transformation has really come naturally with the mindset transformation. So everything starts in the mind, whether we're aware of it or not, whether it's a subconscious thought or a conscious thought. We feel a certain way from whatever we're thinking.
Hmm.
Whatever we're thinking, we're going to start feeling a certain kind of way, and then our actions are motivated by our feelings. So the emotional shift has come from the mindset shift, and the mindset shift began with the process of journaling each morning. Really taking the time. I took my journal prompts from the holistic psychologist.
Okay.
I tweaked them a little bit. But it starts with a gratitude list. So I'll say, one to three to five things that I'm grateful for the day.
Okay.
Then the next prompt is what my future self looks like. I say it in the present tense. So I'm so happy and grateful now that. And I get real specific, and each day it's along the same lines, but I come up with different things, what I'm driving, who I'm surrounding myself with, how people are treating me, what my environment is, how I'm feeling, what I'm wearing, what I'm driving, so it's like physical and internal things,
Hmm.
what my future self is experiencing. And then prompt number 3 is what I can do today. One thing I can do today to align with my future self.
Oh, beautiful.
Then number 4 is highlights from the day before. So highlights from yesterday.
Okay.
Number 5 is I'm so proud that I ... yesterday. So things that I actually like, I'm giving myself permission to kind of parent myself and give myself props. Like, I'm proud of you that you did that yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. So almost a practice of like what I call the good enough principle of like really helping yourself connect with like the things that you're doing positively, not looking so much at what didn't go right and what isn't working, like really aligning in the light
Absolutely, because that is my natural propensity. When someone gives me a compliment, it's my natural, well, thanks, but look at all these things that I didn't do today.
Thanks, but it's not perfect. So I cannot accept a compliment till I hit the impossible perfect that I'll never hit.
I'm like, wait, did you not notice that I didn't get all that done? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's starting my day with all this like positivity. And then number 6 is just creating like goals for the day, like my targets for the day. What will it take today for me to feel accomplished? It
Like
doesn't have to be
your minimums.
my minimums. It does not have to be
Cool.
my entire to-do list. What 3 things do I need to accomplish today to feel accomplished? And then number 7 is affirmations for the day. So I am ... I am whole, happy, wealthy. I am fulfilled. I have a beautiful career that makes me feel fulfilled. I am a money magnet. Just whatever I'm feeling for the day that I would like to attract to me.
So lots of law of attraction work.
Yeah. Yeah. Super important.
What are you most surprised by?
I'm most surprised. Well, with my journaling practice, I was most surprised by how quickly I was able to see and feel results. Um, it's not like weight loss that, does take a little bit longer to actually be able to notice results. Within 3 days of this practice, I was like, man, I'm feeling good. Like, and I'm like, what is it? What is it? It has to be this journaling practice. What has been most surprising to me just in this journey to total wellness is really like how easily the weight seems to just be falling off. I've been a lifelong yo-yo dieter, and every time I have attempted weight loss in the past, it's always felt like white knuckling, like just like I gotta get there, and this is so hard, and restriction, and this,
Deprivation.
yeah. And now it's just naturally falling off. It's just because I'm really enjoying the process this time, unlike ever before. And it's because I'm focusing with intention on the other things. And this is the weight loss is just a byproduct of working on the mind, really.
Yes. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I feel that. And it's a hard thing, I think, to name and talk about, because people have so much struggle with it because they've been using methods that make them feel like they're beating their head against the wall.
Yes. Yes.
I've kept this off for over 10 years, and it is easy because I live from that place of grounded, intentional choice. And after you let go of the self-sabotaging beliefs, it feels almost scarily easy. Like, what kind of weird voodoo magic is this?
Yeah. It's like so simple, but it's not if you don't have the correct information and the correct knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. But absolutely, it's kind of like, wait, what? I'm in a size what now? It just keeps falling off. It's incredible. I feel super blessed to have come across the community that I came across, that has allowed me, it has provided me with the knowledge and information and support and accountability that I needed, because we all need that. Even no matter how much knowledge we have as humans, when we start to make a change, our brain feels intimidated and feels like it's in danger, even if the change is technically consciously a good positive change for us.
Mm-hmm. It's like, whoa, what is happening here?
We were fine. We were fine until you kept changing something.
Yep. Status quo, status quo, status quo. That's why we need support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all these things are important for success. It's not just one thing.
I know what I want to ask you because I know listeners wonder this. When you came across your coaches and it clicked and it was aligned, what did you feel? Because one of the biggest questions I get from people is, what is the difference between intuition and anxiety? And so people are learning how to feel in their gut that, yes, this, and listen to it.
Yes.
What does your intuition feel like to you? Like when you came across them, how did you know it was a yes?
Yeah, that's such a powerful question because I do feel like it probably feels different to everyone, right? I mean, it's kind of like a thumbprint.
Mm-hmm.
Even all emotions feel different to everyone. My form of anger feels different to other people's anger.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it almost feels like an internal like pull, like
Ah.
like a pull towards something. Whereas, because I'm very familiar with what my anxiety feels like, and my anxiety feels like a bubbly tummy, like
Mm.
a it doesn't feel like a pull towards. They are similar, but one feels good and the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So there's like a confirmation
yes.
with that pulling.
There's a confirmation, an internal confirmation. Sometimes
Absence of doubt.
ooh, so I mean, even when I found the coaches, my ego popped up and was like, but you failed so many times before. What makes you think this is going to be any different? Like
Oh,
the doubt was
inner
still
critic.
there because I hadn't shown myself through action that I could continually show up for myself. Therefore, my confidence level was low. So
Mm.
I still, you
So
know,
you felt that pull towards them, but within your own process, you felt the doubt.
sure, I was still super wobbly. I even told Sarit in the beginning, because she was like, oh, I can tell you're going to do amazing things. And I was like, let me just warn you. I was like, I'm really great at starting things and not so great with finishing them. And she was like, how about we rewrite that script right now? And I was like, okay, what do you mean? And she was like, how about you start telling yourself, I'm really great at starting things and I'm even better at finishing them strong.
Ooh.
And I was like, ooh, and in the moment I didn't believe it, but I
Mm-hmm.
started writing it in my journal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's the process of rewriting your brain, rewriting the neural pathways. It's not going to be easy in the beginning.
Well, and fake it till you make it. I think our community of highly sensitive people and empaths, you're an empath, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think because we love authenticity so much, and that's what we're striving for, that's the struggle with faking it till you make it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So to give that permission to go, all right, I know this is a healthy thing, even though my mind and my body are like, what is this? I don't know about this. Are you sure? And to just be able to lean into, no, damn it, I'm practicing this new truth until it can start to become my new reality.
Yes. Yes. An analogy I like to use for this, and yes, I'm from Texas, so this is a very country analogy, but our neural pathways are a lot like driving a four-wheeler through a big field of tall grass.
Mm-hmm.
And we drive through the same pathway over and over and over again. Eventually the grass falls and then and then it becomes a dirt pathway and then it becomes a trench, right? And so we've just driven through it over and over and over. It's what our brains are used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to create a new neural pathway is literally like trying to get that ATV out of the muddy trench. It might be muddy, it's going to be slippery, you're going to fall back down into it, but eventually you're going to be able to pull the ATV up and start creating that new pathway.
Mm-hmm.
You might fall back into the trench, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you start running that new pathway, the more the new trench will be formed, and it will get easier and easier.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, it's really challenging, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it feels a little, I think, even crazy to hope that you could ever be different. Like that feels bonkers and just like, yeah, like I'm going to win the lottery. Sure. Like it's a hard thing to really believe, but also when you stop walking the old neural pathway, that grows over and that over time gets harder and harder to just go. When we go back, we're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this isn't as clear. Like it doesn't look right. I don't know if I want to walk this anymore. And that's when it's really, I believe, like getting into our subconscious. And then that's when it starts to be more of who we are than this new weird thing we're practicing.
Right. Sarita always says like it's a process of becoming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what do you do in a week? Like what's your week like in terms of food and exercise and movement?
Sure. So, you know, Sarit's is really good about starting you off where you are. It's very like, I mean, it fit really well with all of my like social work education, right? Like meeting the client where they are.
Yeah.
And so in that initial success call, you know, my life looks very different now than that initial success call back in April. It's been a process, a slow building process, a baby step process. So in the beginning, I was roller skating 3 times a week and doing a little bit of, you know, body weight exercises twice a week.
Nice.
You know, that's how I started.
Mm-hmm.
And some people in the program have started off with even less. You know, they're starting with walking around the block 5 times a week. You know, I mean,
Yep.
so it's all about figuring out where you currently are and what feels feasible for you. It's about figuring out targets within 4 pillars. So you want to figure out nutrition, movement, hydration, and sleep. All 4 are super important for sustained success.
Mm-hmm.
So we set daily targets for me around those things. We had one girl who started in the program who was living with her Mexican grandmother from Mexico. And the grandmother was making fresh tortillas in the house every day. Just like part of the staple, right?
Uh-huh.
And so she was eating like 25 tortillas a week.
Wow.
And so Sarit set one of her nutrition targets at 20 tortillas a week.
Yep.
Now an outsider looking in saying, wait, your nutritionist said it's okay for you to have 20 tortillas a week? That's nuts. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't for her because it's how, you know, so setting targets around what's feasible for your current life right now without feeling like you're jumping a death gap.
Yes.
The death gap meaning going from doing nothing to doing all the things, and maybe you're successful for 2 to 4 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fall off into the Grand Canyon and feel like a failure again because you tried to do too much too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the pendulum swings. Like we're such a culture of all or nothing. Like, you know, we're cheesecake or we're going to do 2 hours at the gym and then we can't walk. And then we wonder why it's not sustainable and we have so much resistance.
absolutely. So that's why I'm hesitant to even say like what my life looks like right now, because you know, it's like this has been a process of me building up to where I am now for the past 6 months. And if anyone is brand new, you know, wanting to be able to get started, I don't want them to try to emulate what I'm doing right now.
Then that is your answer. Like she's telling you, audience, like to start exactly where you are. So it's like dial up the movement just a little bit. dial down the food just a little bit
Yeah.
and allow yourself to acclimate to that and to feel it as a success.
Yeah, and go watch that sugar film. It's free on YouTube. I'm not affiliated with that or anything, but it definitely helped me. Another movie and book that really changed my life is called You Can Heal Your Life.
Mhm.
And that's by Louise Hay. There's a book and a movie. And that's all about mindset shift and positive affirmations. And so that book and movie really, really changed my life and my trajectory as well. So I think that's a good place for people to start. And if people are interested in Erin and Sarit, their Instagram handle is at Erin and Sarit.
Erin.
ErinAndSarit.
Okay,
Erin
good.
and Sarit.
So Erin with an Erin. Okay,
Uh-huh.
good. I'll
Yeah.
add it to the little show notes in our iTunes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Is
So,
there anything else you want to share about your process, or how is this going to change your mental health work, if at
oh,
all?
it already has changed it so much.
Okay.
Because I'm able to integrate what I've learned from Erin and Sarit in with my veterans who, I mean, it's all the same stuff.
Mhm.
It's, you know, addiction in some form. Addiction is just like this huge universal thing. It's just a maladaptive coping skill.
It's human. Yeah, it's human. It's how we cope. I think it's my early training was very much it was a disease, and I'm so not there.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm,
it's just a natural response,
mhm,
when you haven't been taught otherwise or modeled appropriately, which most of us haven't been. So let's
mhm.
just get real. Like it's 100% normal and natural, but it is up to us. It's our responsibility to make a change if that's what we want. There's some people out in the world who seem 100% okay with who they are and how they're presenting in the world and their body shape, and that's wonderful. Power to them.
Yep, more
Because
power.
yeah, the bottom line is to just feel whole and happy within yourself. So if you
Yes.
genuinely do feel whole and happy within yourself at a, technically what, doctors call obese or whatever, then that's wonderful. Power to you.
Mhm.
Um,
I
but
think
I
within the
think,
HSP community, the part that concerns me about that is how autoimmune is on the rise. And with highly sensitive people, the toxicities in our environments, sugar keeping the body inflamed constantly,
yes.
that's what's at real high risk. And I don't think people know that until many years later when they're hit with really tough diagnoses. So, y'all, when you're hearing Crystal say, like, it's your responsibility to really dig deep and go, is this right for me? Is how I'm living, is this in my alignment? Is this what I want for myself? And if your answer is yes, cool. And if it's not, you can find it and people will help you find it. You
Yes.
don't have to walk that path alone.
Yes, and you shouldn't. I don't encourage you to walk it alone because as humans, we all need help and guidance.
And we're only having more and more disconnection as a culture. And then even with COVID. So I think getting help and support might even be a little different this year than any other year of our lives. We might be needing it in more intentional ways than we've ever really looked at support and connection and socializing and taking care of ourselves. It's a different time to be taking care of ourselves. And you did something really amazing. Like you took the lockdowns and like really leaned in to some really powerful self-care. I'm so grateful that you were willing to do this with me and share. Oh, it's going to make me cry. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for reaching out and asking me. And it's just, I'm super humbled and honored that you even asked me to be on the show. So
Of course, you're a powerhouse. You always have been since the moment I met you.
thank you so much.
Happy to share you.
I appreciate you seeing me always.
Always, always. Oh, light and love. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Y'all can find Crystal at facebook.com/crystal.catalina, Catalina. I want to give a shout out to your mentors and coaches, Aaron and Sarit. Aaron and Sarit work on Team Improve You, IMPROVEU. You can find them on Instagram. Their collective mission is to transform the lives of millions through the same mindset, movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed their own. And that's what we do when we heal and grow, y'all. We expand. Our healing is exponential. And I'm proud to have had you on the show, Crystal. Thank you for sharing yourself. You can find Aaron and Sarit at aaronandsarit.com. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you here next time. I'm an emotional badass. Crystal is an emotional badass. You are an emotional badass. And together, we are where Moxie meets mindful. Light and love. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.